My name is Insane Raven, and today on IO Reviews, I'm going to be reviewing Wonder Woman. Now, this review is late as shit. I acknowledge, and I am so sorry.
Another imposter?
But I have my full costume on, my full Wonder Woman movie attire, and I am ready to review this movie. Now, I did see this movie twice. Do I think that was necessary for this review? Nope. Not at all. In fact, is anything I'm doing for this review necessary? Nope. But I wanted to give this movie, well, I saw it twice, kind of just by happenstance, kind of just what happened. There wasn't a reason why I saw it twice, really, except that I didn't have to pay for the second ticket, so I saw it twice. But, so let's actually talk about this movie. Let's get out of the reasons why I saw it twice and let's talk about this movie. First off, I did think this movie was really good. I really did enjoy Wonder Woman. It's easily the best movie coming out of DC since The Dark Knight. Like, there's no doubt in my mind about that whatsoever. Now, to be fair, the quality of movies that DC's been pushing out, that's not saying a lot. But when you consider the fact that I see this movie as better than the last like 2 Marvel movies I've seen. Now we're getting somewhere. But I really enjoyed this movie. And I think this movie did the one thing that DC has been trying to do for a while. Because the world that this movie is in, like the scenery and the kind of the world it's surrounded, is dark and gloomy as fuck. But he gets away with it this time because the characters are so bright and hopeful. The characters are so optimistic and so much fun. And so I want to spend time with these people that the movie itself doesn't seem like a chore to watch. The movie is just, the action pieces are great. The times where it decides, like, hey, I'm gonna be a stereotypical superhero movie and have those really great action set pieces, it pulls it off really well. There are moments where I genuinely laughed thanks to Chris Pine's performance, and also Wonder Woman's performance. Gal Gadot. I've been told how to say that name, and I don't think I did it right, and I'm very sorry. I'm just gonna call her Gal from now on, or Gal. Gal. Anyway, Gal. Lady. I'm just gonna call her Wonder Woman from now on because I can't pronounce names to save my fucking life. So, we essentially have this amazing performance by Wonder Woman and Chris Pine. I'm sorry I don't know your name. And it's a movie that you want to watch. It's not a movie that you feel like you're obligated to watch because of it's what people are going to be watching. And you know people are going to watch it, so you might as well see it. But it's a movie that you generally have fun while watching. And that's something that DC really hasn't gotten right. I'd say since The Dark Knight. Even though The Dark Knight wasn't a fun experience, it was something that you could have fun while watching. And Wonder Woman kind of flips it on its head. It's a fun experience to watch, and something that, even though I watched it twice, I still had fun both times I saw this movie. The other thing that this movie does really well is that, before I go into that, I want to talk about the politics that go into this movie, because there's a shit ton. You have the social justice warriors saying that this is a great victory. You have some people saying that this is not a victory because it's a DC movie and they suck and all this other crap. We have a lot of people saying that this movie is too political and that's why it's not a good movie. At least that's what I've seen. I've seen a couple of comments where like, this movie isn't as good as everyone says it is. And I have to disagree. Now, am I going to say that this movie is the greatest thing? No, definitely not. But it's definitely a movie that kept my attention, which is far better than what anything DC's been able to do. And it's just a fun ride from beginning to end. My biggest complaint from this movie would probably just be the fact that, yes, it is an origin story, and the beginning and the ending of the movie really don't go anywhere. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be. This movie, while very clearly had one point, and that's introducing Wonder Woman to the masses, and it does that phenomenally, I'll add. I love how I say that, even though I haven't read any of her comic books, but that's cool. It does it phenomenally, trust me. It does it to the point where like I want to go and read Wonder Woman comics now, and that's something that I just never thought I'd be saying. The character is done really well. The child actor they get to play Tiny Diana is so adorable. Like, oh my gosh, she's adorable. She's so adorable. The side characters are a lot of fun. And I love how psychological this movie is. The movie talks about, well, what are humans? Are they good and just easily corrupted? Or are they corrupted and vile to the core? And it's a nice dynamic you get to play with. That was a gross hiccup. And this really fun dynamic you get to play with, and I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the fact that even though you did have all these potential politic issues, it doesn't stop the movie from being fun. And personally, for those of you who are saying that like this is a complete victory, I'd say wait until a female-led superhero movie isn't a big deal. Then you have won. Is this a step in the right direction? Yes. But is it the grand victory you are calling it? No, it's not. And just be aware of that. Until we start getting these movies on the regular, it doesn't matter that this was the first movie to do it. Technically, it's not even the first movie. There was a Supergirl movie way back when that came out, so it's not the first movie. Politics aside, back to the movie talk. It is an amazing experience. However, I do have some problems with it, and they're all pretty nitpicky, I will admit. My biggest problem that I have with this movie is that even though it is not Captain America, you get those Captain America feels from it. There are a couple of times where I'm like, this is basically Captain America in this moment, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You don't want to have that comparison at all. You want as much distance between any Marvel property and any DC property at this time, because DC is just now kind of getting everything together. So that DC has to be aware of that. I do believe though that if DC continues to go on this path of dark world, bright and happier characters, you are going to have an amazing DC universe. One that could even rival Marvel's complete control in quality superhero movies. And I am very excited for that to be the case. Because honestly, I don't know if it's because I've seen too many of them at this point, but I am tired of the Marvel hack. So if DC can finally follow through with movies like this, with this kind of content, and this kind of psychological and ideas and world building, I won't be as worried as I was for earlier movies in the DCU. It's definitely a step in the right direction, and I want them to continue to go on this path. But the biggest issue I have with this movie, even worse than the moments where it felt like I was watching a Captain America prequel, was easily the last line in the movie. Well, you kind of had this big story of, human beings are good and there's always good in them, you don't. You can always save them. Human beings are just corruptible, but they are savable. And to have the last line come down to, it's because I believe in love. And it's because I believe in basically humanity. Which, even though it's a nice concept, it's a little too over the head. And it's a little too raw girl power for a movie that didn't need to do that. Because by the end of the movie, like, you already kind of have that raw girl power moments that you don't need to, like, beat it over the head with how different Wonder Woman is in comparison to Batman and Superman, film-wise. Like, you just don't need to have that. You've already set that up with the rest of the film. There are also a couple moments where the background and the green screen looks bloody terrible. And even though it took me out of the movie for a couple of moments, it wasn't so bad to the point where I was like, oh, that was rough. That's unwatchable. Like, what are you guys doing? But I think this movie is definitely a step in the right direction, even though it has some pretty noticeable missteps. The other thing I really want to congratulate this movie on, which is a stupid thing to congratulate the movie on, because the character of Wonder Woman is so good and so amazing, this shouldn't be something I have to comment on. But the fact that there's only one real moment in the film, well, it feels like DC was like, oh yeah, and by the way, Gale, Wonder Woman has a nice ass. There's only one moment where that really becomes, that really is a thing, cinematically shot anyway. And I enjoyed that. As stupid and as small as and insignificant that should be in this age of filmmaking, I love the fact that because it happened one time in the movie, it stuck out so much to me. Which is just so weird to say. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see where DC wants to go. And that is something I did not think I'd be saying anytime soon. So here's hoping that DC continues this path. Continues the path of we can make these dark stories and we can make these stories that are rough, but we can also wrap it in good storytelling and idealistic thoughts and ideas and just stuff that Marvel really doesn't want to go to. Marvel is bright and sunshiny and amazing because they don't take that dark side. So the fact that DC in this film took that dark side but also gave it the pockets of light that it needed to compete, I thought was really great. And as simple as it is, I want this movie to become a milestone in DCCU, because I feel like if you're gonna do the whole dark and brooding world, this is the right step. You know, have the characters that
The same thing.
are good, in the point of like they actually believe in something more than just, you know, being brooding. And I didn't think I'd have to say that, being that one of the characters is Superman, but I've been surprised. But Wonder Woman is that breath of fresh air for the DCCU, and hopefully they won't fuck it up in the Justice League in the next film. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm gonna do with you guys. I really just don't know what I'm going to do with DCCU. But that is all I have to add on Wonder Woman as a whole. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys saw Wonder Woman, which you probably did, because looking at what I've seen so far, the amount of money this thing made was intense. Oh, there's one quick spoilery thing I want to talk about, because I want to give this credit. I want to talk about this because it is such an important motif in the film. So this movie talks about God and Satan a lot. The way they portray, spoiler alert by the way, major ass spoiler alert. You guys good? You good? Okay, you're good. The way they portray Ares is very satanic. He's not really the god of war, he's more of a god of hell, and he's more of a god of corruption. Versus a god of just conflict. And the way they have him kind of work throughout the movie is that he's not who you think he is. And that's the point. He's not supposed to be who you think he is. And he's supposed to just be this background character to push this deeper, no, humans kind of suck story that they're going for. The story that is very much a part of, do you believe in humanity enough to fight for them? And I loved it. My biggest complaint with Ares is that it kept his fucking mustache. Like, he could have burned it off when he was doing something. He could have done something. But nope, he had to keep his stupid mustache. And it was annoying. That was my biggest pet peeve when it came to Ares, that he had a mustache. Because he looked stupid with a mustache. But now I don't have anything else to add. I am all good. I don't have any more content to talk about. My name is Insane Raven, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.